confirm the swap deal which took place seeing Alexis Sanchez go to Manchester United, Henrik Mkhitaryan come here. Can we just start by getting your initial reaction to that transfer?
Well, overall, I would believe that we lose a world-class player and we gain a world-class player. So how efficient will that work? That will be down to the performances of both players, but overall, I think Mkhitaryan has the qualities to integrate our game, and but it's based a lot on movement and technical quality. And I think he has the attributes. He has a good team attitude as well. And I'm confident that it will work, and he can play in all kinds of positions on the flanks. He can play through the middle as well. So I think he's very versatile, and it should help us to be very efficient going forward.
Do you see him maybe lining up in the same team as Mesut Ozil, or is it a case of being able to interchange between them?
No, they can play together as well, of course.
He's not available for tomorrow night's game, but who's likely to come back in?
We might have Ramsey back in the squad. He has a test today. And after we have the uncertainty about Nacho Monreal, who left the game during the game at Crystal Palace. And hopefully he has a test this morning as well.
And Olivier Giroud and Danny Welbeck?
Olivier Giroud is a fraction short, Danny Welbeck a fraction short as well.
He's perhaps not a direct replacement for Sanchez, but what else do you expect Mkhitaryan to bring to your front line in terms of your options?
I would say quality of runs, quality of creativity. He can be very penetrating with his passing and with his runs, and overall technical stability in our team and experience as well. He knows what it is to fight at the top level.
You said a few days ago that you can understand why anybody would want to leave Arsenal. Why do you think Alexis Sanchez did? Do you think it came down to money in the end?
I said here, that it was he's 29 years old, going 13, 2018, and that it was maybe his last contract. And of course, the financial aspect is important. He could combine both. I think he goes to a great club and he gets a great contract. So you can understand that a professional player he could combine both aspects.
You brought in one player, as we mentioned. How confident are you can complete a deal now to bring Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang here to Arsenal?
It was him, maybe. Standing on the line. Confident or not confident, I don't know. At the moment we are not close to do any deal, is it Aubameyang or anybody else?
Is it fair to say that with Dortmund needing a striker, would you be prepared to allow Olivier Giroud going the other way? So
look, the negotiations are not as far as that.
How close are they then?
You never know how close you are. This is a kind of things that at the moment is one of possible movements, but we have other things in mind as well. We have plenty of opportunities in different positions, so the final decision is not made.
How important is your thinking in terms of Aubameyang playing with Mkhitaryan? They played together previously. They seem to have a good relationship.
No, you look at players what is their qualities, what can they give to the team, and overall, when we are good players, we can always play together.
Reports as well that Danny Welbeck could be going to Besiktas. I know he's been injured against Crystal Palace, but is there anything in that at all?
No, I want Danny Welbeck to stay here.
And in terms of other business, is it more likely to be loans in and out, younger players, squad players?
Depends on the opportunities we have. We can buy players. We are busy on all fronts, and so overall, I think we are open-minded. Every opportunity we have to strengthen our squad we'll take, and if people want to buy some of our players, we have examined that. Players who have less chances to play, we have done it. You know, who deserve to play because they are great players who have left us. So after that, we'll see at the end. There's still a lot will happen in the last week, as usual, on the transfer market.
You'd have seen Deloitte's Money League published yesterday. Arsenal finishing, I think, 5th of all the richest clubs in terms of revenue, 20% up on last season, but you spent less in terms of recruitment than all the other teams in the top 10. Are you sure that this club is doing everything they can to keep pace with the best teams in this country and in Europe?
Yes, of course, but you have not to forget that we have as well financial restrictions from the banks because we have built the stadium, you know, and so it is important. We have to respect a financial plan. And as you said, we work very hard to become richer because, and we achieve it. After that, we have to spend the money in the most intelligent way we can on a transfer market that has become a bit out of control. But I believe as well, despite all the financial superpowers that we have in the league and in Europe now, I believe it's very important that we keep the basis of our focus on getting people out from inside the club. And I'm convinced that the way the football is going is maybe not necessarily only to buy with a huge amount of money players, but have players in your team who care about the club and have a sense of belonging and the pride of belonging to the club. I would rather encourage a club to push more on the quality of our youth work, what we are doing, than going into a way where it's only about millions and not so much about values.
How important is this game to you tomorrow? You come close to winning the League Cup a couple of times, but never quite got there.
It's an important game, and we want to go to the final. We have an opportunity to do it at home against Chelsea. I think the two teams know each other very well. The first leg was very blocked. The second leg will certainly be more open because at some stage the teams will have to open up and to try to win the game. So it should be much more spectacular than the first one.
Just one defeat now in 7 against Chelsea. Do you think you found a way of playing against them?
I'm always cautious to say that because I think the two teams are very close to each other every time they meet, and the form of a day can be a decider, you know, and the strength of the motivation on the day can be a decider as well. So I think it has always been very tight, and there are two good teams who know each other well now, so it's very difficult, it's very unpredictable.
Arsene, with Sanchez going and in the past Van Persie going and obviously Fabregas going, are you worried that Arsenal is seen as a bit of a selling club in some way?
No, I'm not worried about that, and when the players get to a certain age and they want to go, you have to respect that as well, you know. It's as I said, all these players had a short contract to go, and at some stage you have to make a decision. Are you commit for 4 years and, or not at an age where you have to think about it?
Sanchez apparently is going to get around about £400,000 a week in wages, something like that. Are you worried that some of your players who are coming out of contract this summer, like Mesut Ozil, or next summer, might also, in the end, just go for money rather than footballing ambition?
Sanchez combined both. So what I think, at the end of the day, we are a serious football club who has responsibilities, and we want to spend the money we can afford, you know, and the maximum we can afford we do, but as well you have some decisions to make at some stage. Are you responsible in your management or not? And if you cannot afford, you have to say no, we can't do that.
The game tomorrow night, do you see yourself as a favourite because you're at home, or do you see Chelsea as favourites because if they get an away goal, and you've gone through to a final before on away goals, then it puts them in pole position?
Well, honestly, I don't see any favourite in that tie. If you look, as we just spoke about, in the last 7 games, it was always very tight. So you could say what comes out is that there is no real favourite, but we are at home and we feel strong at home, and so we want to take advantage of it.
And just one more, you were talking about youth players before and bringing players in who care about the team. The likes of Ainsley Maitland-Niles this year has done that, Jack Wilshere has done that in the past as well. Do you see that as being...
Don't forget Iwobi, Bellerin, you know, we are the only team who plays with 4 or 5 players in the starting lineups, with players who come out from the club, if you look at, well.
But don't you think managers then have to trust their young players? I mean, you may well do, but quite a few other clubs...
What I mean, if you look at the instability now in the Premier League, you don't encourage the managers to take gambles with young players, you know, and when they make their team on Friday night, they will go more for security, and security is experience than to give a chance to young players.
Arsene, Mkhitaryan, when he was at Manchester United, didn't quite achieve perhaps the consistency he had when he was in Germany. Are you confident you can help him find that here? I
hope yes. I have no doubt about his attitude, his commitment, his desire to do well. He suffered a little bit maybe from the competition he had there, and overall that's his challenge and my challenge as well, to get him to express completely his talent that we know is absolutely right, because he has done extremely well, and so he has a new challenge that we want to help him to be successful in it.
How much do you think his time at Manchester United affected his confidence? Have you seen that?
I will know that. I don't know that very well. I will know much more about that in the next 2-3 weeks.
I know he obviously can't play tomorrow, but do you see him slotting in straight away, or will he need a couple of weeks to get up to speed? Or?
That depends first of all on the team performances and on his own fitness and performances in training as well.
Just on Sanchez, there was a suggestion that maybe about a year or so ago he virtually agreed a deal to stay here. Is that true?
Look, I don't want to come back on the history of these negotiations, but maybe one day. But Sanchez is a great guy and has always been committed. Did the negotiations go well or not well? It has never affected him. I would just like to remind you that I took him to the hotel on the night before the Crystal Palace game, and he was completely focused and ready to play the next day, until I told him, look, you can go home, the deal is over the line. So what he did, but no matter how the negotiations went, he was always fully focused on football.
Your smile suggests that it was close.
You can interpret my smile, you know me well enough for years, so I leave you free to do that.
I mean, because in his interview that he's given at United, he's talked about how he spoke to Ferguson years ago and he wanted to play for United since he was a little boy and all this sort of stuff. I mean, when you see that, do you take that with a sort of pinch of salt?
Well, maybe it's true, you know, I have no problem with that. But Sanchez is a professional player and who is a guy who loves football, and when he's on the football pitch, he has given the maximum for Arsene and will do the same for Man United. He was before at Barcelona, you know, they are not small clubs. He has been in big clubs and he knows that in a big club, to survive, you have to give absolutely your best.
It's quite rare to see 2 clubs swapping players like that.
Very rare.
How important was it for Arsenal to get a player in return for Sanchez instead of just cash? And do you think it's something that could become more common because of the way the transfer prices are going?
It could happen, yes, more, because the transfer prices are very high. And we were as well in a position where the player had no value in 3 months, you know, or 4 months. So that is, of course, important in your decision as well.
Okay, guys.